Welcome to day 6. Today we're challenging one of the most dangerous beliefs about decision making, that experience equals wisdom and that smart people make safer decisions. Here's the myth that trips us all up. I've got experience. I know what I'm doing. But experience doesn't automatically lead to better decisions. In fact, it often leads to overconfidence, one of the most common cognitive traps we all fall into. Let me tell you about May 10th, 1996 on Mount Everest. Two experienced commercial expedition leaders, Rob Hall and Scott Fisher, were guiding paying clients to the summit. Both were seasoned pros with multiple successful Everest climbs under their belts. They had one unbendable rule when it came to the day they attempted to reach the summit. Turn around by 2 p.m., no matter what. The reason? At 29,000 feet, you don't want to be climbing down in darkness. Both leaders had drilled this into their teams repeatedly. They knew it could mean the difference between life and death. Now, to understand what happened next, you need to grasp what these climbers had invested. Each client had paid $65,000, equivalent to about $120,000 today. They'd spent months training, some taking unpaid leave from work. They had already been on the mountain for 6 weeks, acclimating their bodies to thin air, establishing camps, waiting for the perfect weather window. This wasn't just a climbing expedition. It was the culmination of dreams, savings, and enormous personal sacrifice. On that fateful summit day, everything started falling behind schedule right from the start. Bottlenecks formed at technical sections, fixed ropes weren't in place when they should have been. By noon, climbers were still hours from the summit, well past the point where their turnaround rules should have kicked in. But here's where it gets fascinating and terrifying. These weren't panicked amateurs making emotional decisions. These were methodical professionals who started rationalizing why their unbendable rule could bend. The weather looked so stable. We're so close. The clients have invested everything in this moment. One guide later described the mentality. It's very difficult to turn someone around high on the mountain. If a client sees the summit as close and they're dead set on getting there, they're going to laugh in your face and keep going. Doug Hansen, one of the climbers, captured the mindset perfectly. I've put too much of myself into this mountain to quit now without giving it everything I've got. So they kept climbing. Many didn't reach the summit until after 4 p.m., some as late as 4:30. They had shattered their own rule, the one they knew could save their lives. When a storm hit that evening, they were caught high in the mountain in darkness and during a terrible blizzard. 5 people died, including both expedition leaders. This is what makes the story so chilling. These weren't reckless daredevils. They were consummate professionals who convinced themselves that this time was different. This time was the exception. This time they could break the rules that had kept them alive for years. How did 2 of the world's most experienced high-altitude climbers make such a fatal error? 3 cognitive biases took over. First, overconfidence bias. Scott Fisher once boasted, "We've got the Big E completely figured out. We've built a yellow brick road to the summit." Rob Hall told a worried climber, "It's been 39 times so far, pal." Their experience had made them dangerously cocky. Second, the sunk cost effect. These climbers had invested $65,000 in months of training. As one climber said, "I put too much of myself into this mountain to quit now." They couldn't walk away from their investment, even when the smart move was to turn back. Third, the recency effect. There had been several seasons of good weather on Everest, and recent success made them underestimate the probability of disaster. They forgot that the mountain had killed people before. They just hadn't experienced it personally. Remember, these weren't rookies making amateur mistakes. These were experts at the top of their field. And that's exactly why they fell into the trap. Experience is powerful, but it can also be blinding. When you rely too heavily on past success, You stop questioning your assumptions. You confuse familiarity with clarity. You mistake feeling right for being right. The most dangerous phrase in any language: we've always done it this way. Your experience doesn't protect you from bias. Sometimes it deepens it. Success breeds confidence, and confidence can breed carelessness. You start taking shortcuts. You dismiss red flags. You stop seeking outside perspectives because, hey, you're the expert. But here's what separates good decision makers from great ones: humility. The best decision makers question what they know. They ask for outside views. They double check their thinking, especially when they're the expert in the room. Your experience is a powerful tool when you use it with humility. The most successful people aren't the ones with the most experience. They're the ones who keep learning, who stay curious, who question their own thinking, even when they've been right 99 times out of 100. Tomorrow, we're exploring what it means to take ownership of your decisions. But today, challenge your assumptions. Question your experience. Remember, smarter doesn't always mean safer, but self-aware always is.